Welcome to Lesson 15 of Daily Theology. We continue today with the doctrine of creation, a part of which is what Scripture teaches about us, human beings. And the very first thing we learn about people in the Bible is that we were made in the image of God. Genesis 1:26 and 27 says, "Then God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." So God created man in His own image. In the image of God, He created him. Male and female, He created them. The question for us in this lesson is, what does it mean to be made in the image of God? Or I could ask it this way. What is the image of God in people? We get some clues to the answer from the text itself. One is from the words that follow those about God making us in His image. He then said that we would have dominion or rule over the rest of creation. We have the authority and the capacity to do this. We represent God on the earth. We are higher than and over the other things that God made, just as God is higher than and over us and everything else. Human beings are the crowning work of God. We alone are said to have been made in His image and likeness. He saved the best for last when He made us and set upon completing that final work that it was very good as opposed to merely good. Ruling like God and under Him would include our having been given characteristics and qualities and abilities like Him. So we reflect God too. And part of that is Him enabling us to create. Specifically, He commanded us to recreate others like us. Genesis 1:28 says, "And God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth and subdue it." Then Genesis 5:3 says, "Adam fathered a son in his own likeness, after his image, and he named him Seth." So at least a part of the image of God in us is that we rule like Him. A second clue as to what the image of God in people is something I alluded to in a lesson a few days ago. The fact that in making people, God made them male and female, which means that there is both unity and diversity among humans. Men and women are equally people and equally made in the image of God, but at the same time they are different, distinct, and unique. This unity and diversity is a representation and a reflection of the relationship that's always existed among the persons of the Trinity, a relationship of love. We're like God in the way that we can relate to one another in love because of how we mirror one another, and as we acknowledge and appreciate how we complement one another. So another part of the image of God in us is that we love like Him. Beyond those two clues, I would suggest that the primary meaning, not exhaustive, but the primary meaning of the image of God in us is that we have a spirit or a soul, an immaterial, non-physical component to who we are, which enables us to relate to God, who is spirit, in a way that the rest of creation can't. We can love Him and trust Him and worship Him and serve Him. Genesis 2:7 hints at this when it says that God breathed into Adam the breath or spirit of life, and he became a living soul. The rest of the Bible then makes it clear that there's something more to us than just a body, especially when it speaks to the separation of our spirit from our body when we die. So a final part, a big part of the image of God in us is that we have a spirit like God is spirit. Because of the truth that we're like God, that we represent and reflect Him, every person is worthy of respect. There's significance to every life. All life is sacred. We should all believe in human dignity. To mistreat others is to mistreat the God who made them like Himself. It's not simply an attack on them, it's an attack on Him. According to Genesis 9, this is what makes murder wrong. And according to James 3, it even makes something like cursing or speaking ill of someone else wrong. This is why the great commandments are to love God and to love our neighbor. There's a special connection between God and us, and it's because of the image of God in people.